Well, isn't this an awkward moment?
So let's be absolutely clear. Canada currently has the best trade deal with the United States.
Why the about face, Carney? Ladies and gents, welcome back. We've been talking about this for months and months and months now. The elbows up crowd, the Mark Carney campaign to get elected to be Prime Minister of Canada. Well, the whole idea was we're not going to give up. We're not going to give up at all. And in fact, we're going to put the pressure on the United States, says Mark Carney. Most of us with our heads screwed on, right? Saw this as the most ridiculous thing to say ever. This is Mark Carney just a few months ago talking about the trade relationship with the United States and Canada, or the relationship we've had, is fundamentally over.
The system of global trade anchored on the United States that Canada has relied on since the end of the Second World War, a system that, while not perfect, has helped to deliver prosperity for our country for decades, is over.
Oh, it's over. It's done. It's done with everybody. It's the global trade with the United States is over. That was the predictions of Mark Carney. Not only that, but here he is, Ryan Garrettson, posting this one on X from back in January 31st of this year. He says, well, we are never going to cave to Trump. He did. Then he predicts that the U.S. will experience no growth, higher interest rates, and high inflation. None of that happened. In fact, it was what other people were predicting were going to happen. Well, Canada was just going to eventually cave, but this is what he had to say back then.
Mark Carney, thanks for joining us. What is your reaction to the White House's confirmation of 25% tariffs against your country?
Well, look, I think President Trump probably thinks that we in Canada will cave in, but we are going to stand up to a bully. We're not going to back down. We're united, and we will retaliate.
And the effect of this on the US and on Canada economically?
Well, ultimately, the steps that the president is taking against Canada, contemplating, I guess, as well against Mexico, China, others, and threatening the world are going to rebound negatively on the United States. They're going to hit growth. They're going to move up inflation. They're going to raise interest rates. They're going to damage the U.S.'s reputation around the world. I mean, let's be absolutely clear. This is the second time in less than 10 years, less than 8 years, that the United States has, in effect, ripped up a trade agreement with its closest trading partner that it negotiated in good faith.
And there's no doubt from your perspective that Mexico-Canada agreement, what used to be NAFTA, has been ripped up tonight.
Well, it's the U.S. is violating it.
The U.S. is violating it. Is that correct? Well, the truth comes out. The truth comes out. America's economy is not actually suffering. In fact, America's economy is doing quite well right now. And a lot of people are very thrilled with the job that Donald Trump has been doing for the United States. The trade deals that have been reached across the planet with all of our trading partners, with everybody else, it seems to be going through, and it seems to be a different deal going forward. All these other countries are actually opening up their economies to U.S. companies and paying tariffs to enter the United States market. In fact, Canada, as I've been saying on this channel, has the best deal. It has the best deal moving forward. And Carney reiterates this as he, I don't know, what comes to his senses? Is this what happened?
Now, as in previous trade disputes, Canada has implemented a series of retaliatory tariffs. Their objectives have been to protect Canadian workers and businesses and to incentivize a negotiated settlement with the United States. Few other countries followed suit. In a positive and very important development earlier this month, just a few weeks ago, the United States reaffirmed a core commitment to our free trade agreement, CUSMA, by reinforcing that those Canadian exports to the United States that are compliant with that agreement, that are compliant with CUSMA, will not be subject to U.S. IEEPA tariffs.
Now, that has been the case, and it never changed, even though Carney and his cronies want to keep telling you that the deal is all over the place. We don't know what's happening. Even Doug Ford, just as recently as last week, was saying this to the news.
Donald Trump is so unpredictable. I don't even know if he knows what he's doing tomorrow morning. So let's start focusing on creating that environment.
But is there an acceptance? Is there an acceptance, I guess, from leaders that we'll just have the tariffs?
Again, the Prime Minister will speak on that, but the President is unpredictable. He'll come out with some cockamamie thing tomorrow that we don't even know about.
Right, super unpredictable, yet the rest of the world doesn't see it as unpredictable. They know exactly what's happening, and it looks like Mark Carney, apparently he's going to do the right thing, according to Doug Ford, came forward and I guess told Canadians exactly as it is.
Now, there's a lot of acronyms in that paragraph, so let me try to summarize what that actually means.
Let us know what that means.
As a result of that decision by the United States, the actual U.S. tariff rate on Canadian goods is 5.6%.
Wow, lower than everybody else.
Compare that to the 16% global average. That remains the lowest amongst all of the United States trading partners. And more than 85% of Canada-U.S. trade is now tariff-free.
Yeah.
So let's be absolutely clear. Canada currently has the best trade deal with the United States.
Wow, wouldn't that be something to just actually say way back when? But that wouldn't win you an election because you couldn't have your orange man bad. We're not, what makes us Canadians is that we're not American, hate on the Americans, get people to stop coming to the country because they don't want to visit Canada, and get Canadians to stop visiting the United States. This was the whole thing. This was where we were at with this whole thing. And guess what? Even the reporters were calling him out on this and saying, why aren't you being truthful about this? Or what's the big change of heart? Because weren't you just elbows up? Wasn't that the shtick?
Mr. Carney, thank you for taking our questions. Your critics are going to say that this is an elbows down approach, that you're backing down to Trump. What are you gaining by dropping these tariffs?
So the first thing to say is, let's be clear.
We
have the best deal of anyone in the world right now. We have the lowest tariff rate on average, a little over 5.5% versus that 16% average for the world, and in many cases much higher.
Yeah, that's right.
We have that confirmed in an executive order of the president a few weeks ago. It's important that we preserve that. It's important that we preserve that while we focus on two things: the strategic sectors, steel, aluminum, autos, lumber, and we focus on the upcoming review and likely changes to CUSMA.
I think, and we're going to get into that, I think that is the crux of why this whole change of heart just happened.
So we are matching something the Americans have done here first. Okay? And it's very significant. It's unique. We get the benefit. The second thing is, and I'll take your analogy. And I have played some hockey over the years. And there is a time in a game, in a big game, and this is a big game, when you go hard in the corners, your elbows up. The time in a game we drop the gloves in the first period and you send a message. And we've done that pretty uniquely in the world.
Yeah, no, you just embarrassed yourself really in front of the world and made Canadians look like idiots. That's what I would say. Mark Carney, of course, just the day before says, I had a productive and wide-ranging conversation with POTUS this morning. We focused on trade challenges, opportunities, building a new economic and security relationship between Canada and the United States, and supporting long-term peace and security for Ukraine and Europe. I don't know why he's adding that one in there. But this is after a long period of time where Donald Trump wouldn't answer the phone for Mark Carney. This is exactly what is happening. Mark Carney, of course, for all intents and purposes, ruining trade relations with the United States. And Donald Trump, again, like I said, refused to even answer the phone for some time. Now Mark Carney spoke to Donald Trump, and we're wondering what actually occurred in that conversation. It sounds like somebody had their pee-pee slapped, but this is what went down. Now, Contrarian put this out on X saying, Canada, US, what are the odds Trump cancels CUSMA in 2026 based on Canada's nonstop US bashing by media, government, and citizens? 85% of exports are tariff-free currently under CUSMA, which is the USMCA, but the somehow Canadian version of the acronym. The rest of the world calls it USMCA, but of course we have to have that elbows up even in the acronyms. I think the odds are higher than most think, and would collapse what's left of Canada. Trump 2016, I'm canceling CUSMA, the current, NAFTA, what used to be NAFTA. But this, you can confirm this because Howard Lutnick was on the news talking specifically about this with Face the Nation.
Just quickly, are you going to renegotiate that free trade deal, the USMCA?
Oh, I think the president is absolutely going to renegotiate USMCA, okay, but that's a year from today.
Exactly.
So today, of course, 75% comes in free, but of course, should you expect us to renegotiate it? It makes perfect sense for the president to renegotiate it. He wants to protect American jobs. He doesn't want cars built in Canada or Mexico when they could be built in Michigan and Ohio. It's just better for American workers. The president's got the American workers back. That's why they elected him. That's why the stock market's at all-time highs. They understand, the president actually understands business and is doing it the right way.
Well, that's it. So the trade negotiations will commence next year. And I think Mark Carney might be trying to get ahead on this one because, I mean, he could just cancel CUSMA, USMCA. If that was to be canceled, then that would put Canada in a really tough spot. Maybe the tough spot that Donald Trump was talking about at the beginning of his presidency when he was asked, do you plan to use military force to acquire Canada? No. Economic force. And guess what? It's working. Ladies and gents, I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. I know this is a touchy subject for Canada and for obvious reasons. The United States wants to remove manufacturing from Canada and bring it to the United States. Manufacturing that historically originated from American companies going into Canada because they didn't have enough labor at a particular time in history. Those times are over. Those times are over, and the United States is looking to get that in those industries back. What do you think is going to happen? I'd love to hear what you have to say in the comments down below. We'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.